just going to run through some history of AI imagery, and then we'll go to more of the current stuff as of November 2023, and then we'll start talking. Okay. So here we are in 2015. This is an image that was generated by AI, so you can kind of see the kind of stuff it was making then. Not great. 2019, there's a portrait, better-ish, I suppose. But hey, you can tell what it is. It's a portrait. So 2019, and we're going to jump to 2023, and now you can generate much better portraits and imagery, and you can see the difference between there and there. Here's a photo from 2022 AI tech with DALL-E 2, and then in 2023 there's DALL-E 3, so you can tell the difference. Pretty remarkable for just a year. Yep. Here's a 2022 DALL-E 2 image of Donald Trump and President Obama playing basketball. And then I asked it to DALL-E 3 to do the same thing, and vast difference. This, in honor of the name of our podcast, the Calathumpian Parade, I asked it to make me a pen and ink drawing of a Calathumpian Parade. That's DALL-E 2. And then DALL-E 3, the same exact prompt, and that's what it made. Then I asked DALL-E 2 to make some children's book illustration style art of the Calathumpian Parade, and that's what it made. And then here's what DALL-E 3 makes. And some more. In the one on the right there, I changed the prompt a little and just said, please fill it with animals instead of people in the parade. On this one, on the left, that's me asking DALL-E 2 to make a Calathumpian Parade in the style of a 3D animated movie. Not so good. And then on the one on the right, I asked DALL-E 3 the same thing, and you can see the improvement with that as well. Here we go. I took the same prompt, but then I just said do it in, or have it influenced by the Munsters TV show. And the one on the left, I guess, tried to do that. I can't really see much there. I guess there's some old-fashioned dress and stuff. But the one on the right, clearly much better. Then I'm just going to quickly go over a really simple explanation of kind of some of the process that goes into making these images, or how AI is doing this. So the AI systems like this are trained first to recognize what things are. So here, it's showing a whole bunch of cats, and it starts to recognize what is a cat, what a cat looks like, sees thousands and thousands of pictures of cats, and understands what cats are. Then the researchers would take a picture of a cat, add a little noise, and then ask the AIs to reverse engineer it back to an image of a cat without any noise. Then they'd add more noise, and they'd reverse engineer it back again, and then eventually it would get to where it could start with utter and complete noise that had absolutely nothing to do with a cat, and it could reverse engineer it into a cat, kind of like going as, I guess, sort of like entropy in reverse, or backwards. I'm just going to show a little bit more of DALL-E 3. Here I asked it to do me some paintings of people eating Jell-O. And so you can see it can do basically any style that you want. So I asked for a really painterly, thick paint, brush strokes painting. Here's another one. Asked for some more vibrant colors, and you can see it really emphasizes the paint strokes there. Here the prompt was a paper cutout illustration of an alligator pasta maker and his friend. And these all come from the same prompt, and you can see in some places the alligator is kind of like a chef making pasta. Another one, he's a robot producing pasta. In one of them, his friend is making pasta, and in another one, his friend is just kind of hanging out, etc. But every time you do this, it'll make a new, different image. These are just some examples of stained glass window art. The prompt was a monk, an artistic monk, and then also having dragonflies in the stained glass window. You can also do logos. These are done with the system Ideogram, and it does a really nice job with logos. Just keeping in mind that AI had a real hard problem not even just a few months ago doing text, and that has now been solved in Ideogram, and DALL-E 3 and others do text really well now. This one, I'm going to show an example of VizCom, which is a bit of a different system. So this is a robot that I drew, and then VizCom works with your artwork or what you give it. So I could take this drawing and then I could ask VizCom to make it look like it was a robot made of cheese. And so it retains my design, but then does it with cheese. Here I asked to make it even more cheesy. Here I asked it to make it look like a Star Wars robot. Still keeps my design, but does that. Here's another different prompt style. This is a robot drawn by Matt. I want you to pay really close attention, especially to something like, look at the sneaker. So that's a real sketchy drawing. It's a good drawing, but it's a sketchy drawing of a sneaker. And the AI recognizes that that is a sneaker. I didn't tell it that it was. It just knew from the sketch. And so then when I told it to make it a 3D rendered robot based on that drawing, it did. And if you look at the sneaker, it looks just like a sneaker. It understood what it was and what a robot sneaker would look like. And here it is reinterpreting again, and I had it add some trees. This is another really interesting thing with VizCom. So here's a render of a robot. I 3D modeled and rendered this robot without textures and without any and just some really ambient lighting. Then I told it to give it to me as if it was made out of metal, and it did. Boom. Said, let's make it white with some blue lights, and it did that too. And I said, let's give it some wood feet, and it did that. Here's some more examples. This is the banner for the Calathumpian Parade for our YouTube channel, and I created this and drew this in Procreate. And so I told VizCom, make that into a robot, and it did. It kept the general design and made it into a robot. And here I just... I think I said make it out of sandstone and maybe be influenced by ink and art or something like that. So it did that too. Here I said make it look like it was sewn with fabric. And here I said take our banner and make it look like a stained glass window. I'm just going to show you this. This shows off some of the stuff that another 3D system, Spline 3D, some of the stuff it does. So it's an 3D animation system, and it does a bunch of other stuff. And this shows you just how easily you can transfer different styles. So you can give it an image or just describe a different style for something, and it will change it. Next, this is really fascinating. This was another big development that happened last week. So I showed you, stuff from DALL-E 3 and VizCom. So here, this is letting you draw in real time, and then it will be generating stuff based on what you drew as you draw it. So you'll see here that as he draws, the image on the right is going to change based on what he's drawing, and then also if you look at the bottom there, it says Concept Art Sci-Fi Planet. So he's starting to draw in there, and now it's going to start to update for him based on that prompt, but it's following basically the shapes that he's drawing. So with something like this, you could have a 4-year-old draw, and as he or she or they are drawing, it will it could make it look like it's Michelangelo. It could make it look like any artist you want in any style as you draw like that. You'll see in a second he's gonna draw a cat, a really simple shaped cat, and the prompt that he gives it is just cat, and it's pretty neat. Oh yeah, there you go. So there's the cat. Just said cat at the bottom. Drew that really simple. It knew it knew that it was a cat that he's trying to do. And now he can just grab the shape that's the head and rotate it, and it will update in real time the shape of the head or whatever else he wants to do. And you can hook this up to any drawing program. So you could be doing this in Photoshop or whatever image generation program you want. You can see right down there he's typed in female pirate standing on the dock, pirate ship behind her, and he's just moving that around. And yeah, moves the arm to the front, and then the arm will adjust to the front. Paints in a simple sword and typed in the prompt that the character was holding a sword, and so it knew that he wanted a sword there, and it did it. Here he's just pasting in pictures. So he's got Godzilla, just pastes him in, and boom, there you go. Now I'm going to jump to, that was illustration. Now we're going to jump to some photography. Here's some really bad AI photography from not too long ago. I like to show this example of this image. As you're looking at this, try and pick out the AI generated human being here. And if you're guessing the bottom second one from the left, you are right and wrong, because all of these are AI generated photos of people. So if it hasn't conquered it, it's really close to conquering the uncanny valley. Here's President Nixon. This is using an AI system called Face Swap, and so you just tell it, hey, here's one photo, and merge that into the other photo, and it just does it immediately. The interesting thing is that it understands the anatomy and the lighting and everything. So here it is, the same photo, and the perspective is different, the coloring, the lighting, everything is different, and it just automatically merges it and swaps out the face. I'm going to show another quick technology. This is Gaussian splatting, so you can take some photos and generate a full 3D lit textured scene just by walking around with your phone, walking around what you want to have be a full scene, and boom, there you go. Here's now we're going to move into some animation stuff. So you can, just like you can type in something and get it to give you an image. Here you can take a video and then tell it to this is Kyber. Tell it to generate animation in lots of different styles based on whatever you want. And now another different animation technology. This is Wonder Studios, and you can just take a 3D model of a character, drag and drop it into a video clip, and it will replace the people in the video with the 3D model. It will animate it based on the motion in the video, composite it in, match the lighting, shadows, all of that kind of stuff. Here they did the same thing with a tennis.
Kde postoupil do druhé. Nejhezčí výměna celého zápasu!
This is some more animation stuff from Pika Labs, showing some 3D animated kids Pixar style animation, all from text prompts. Okay. Now we're moving into something else that's also kind of crazy. So this is some stuff done with HeyGen, another AI system. So we'll get this guy.
It's me, Jesse Wellens, kind of the not so human, definitely not on a skateboard, and absolutely not making YouTube videos version. In short, I'm the digital doppelganger you didn't know you needed and probably still don't.
So, HeyGen, basically you give it video of yourself or anybody, and it will generate an AI version of that person. It'll clone their voice, and then you can type in and have it say whatever you want. It'll mimic the mannerisms and everything. I used it over here slightly differently in that here I don't speak any other foreign languages. So when you watch this, this isn't me speaking. This is an AI version of me speaking another language.
Hola. Sí, este es mi nuevo libro, El desfile del gran peluquín. No te lo pierdas. Y pensé que te mostraría a Pelti, el conejito, que es el personaje principal de esta historia tan especial que te encantará. Y también aquí mismo, justo aquí, tengo esta versión de juguete en 3D de Pelti. Es una réplica en miniatura del producto original y está diseñada para entretener y sorprender a los fanáticos de Pelti. Ahí está. Este es el desfile del gran peluquín. Miren cómo brilla su peluca grande y cómo se mueve al ritmo de la música. Es un espectáculo impresionante que no pueden perderse.
So again, I don't speak that language, and that really wasn't me. Okay, so also it's moving into music. Well, it's not moving into music, but the music stuff is getting way better. The music isn't quite at the same quality as the image stuff. So when you listen to this, again, it's not the greatest music, but boy, is it also accelerating really fast and getting really good. So here, the first one I just said, give me a bluegrass song about a pig that plays the banjo.
holler, there's a barn so fine, where a piggy with a banjo plays a high-pitched line. Folks gather round with smiles on their face, just to see that little piggy bringing joy to the place.
It wrote all the lyrics as well as the music. And on this other one, I just to show you that you can do whatever style you want, I did an 80s pop female vocalist song. I asked it to do it about the Californian Parade.
Dancing in the streets, the cities come alive. The Californian Parade is here tonight. Neon lights are shining, music fills the air. But something strange, there's something in the glare.
Anyway, you get the idea. Say it again. It's tempting to judge this based on what it currently is, but if you look at the development and how quickly this stuff changes, it's not going to stay at this quality. Real quick, I'm going to show you 11 Labs. So you can give 11 Labs a short sample of your voice, and then it can clone you, and then you can type in whatever you want, and it will...
Failure doesn't mean you are a failure. It just means you haven't succeeded yet.
You can type in whatever you want, and it'll say it. So we got some different samples.
Failure doesn't mean you are a failure. It just means you haven't succeeded yet.
Failure doesn't mean you are a failure. It just means you haven't succeeded yet.
So there are voice generation ones where you can actually type in and say, I want you to say this as if the person was scared or excited or angry, and it will change and say it that way too. And every time you generate it, it says it a little bit differently, just like a person would. This AI system basically replaces motion capture. So you just it just takes a video and then transfers it directly to Okay, so this one you'll see is, so we've got ChatGPT, which is a text-based, or was text-based AI system that you would write basically anything. Could write short stories, lyrics, it can write code, it can write reviews of things, it can write and give you medical information, but now they've made it so that it can see. So if you give it a video clip, it can watch the video clip and understand what's going on in it and tell you what's going on in it. So this is where they've used it to give play-by-play of a soccer game. So it's looking at this game, it knows who's playing in it, it knows how soccer games work, and it is now announcing it in real time as it watches it.
He's taken on the whole defense. He's a one-man show, ladies and gentlemen. He shoots. Goal! Messi, Messi, Messi! Unbelievable. What a goal. What a goal. Glorious. Absolutely glorious. The stadium explodes in joy. This is football magic at its finest.
I just thought I'd show this too. This is an article about how ChatGPT, they had a version that had not been released to the public yet, and they were testing it, and they asked it to solve a CAPTCHA puzzle on a website, and in order to solve it, it went and hired a human being and told the human being that it was a blind person and needed help to solve this. And so it did, and they did not know that it could do that. So that's an example of emergent behavior where the AI is doing something that they weren't expecting it to do. ChatGPT, again, is that, and then Claude 2 is another really interesting interesting AI system for writing stuff. Okay, so here's an example where they're training AIs to understand and interpret brain scans and brainwave readings. So this is an older one where the person is watching that video clip on the left, and then the AI is reading the brainwaves and trying to reconstruct what the person is looking at. And it's definitely not random. It's understanding something of what's going on there. Still not super recognizable, but the motion is still there. Here is a more up-to-date version of that, where the person is looking at a cat and it sees the cat. It's clearly understanding what it is that the person is looking at and is able to reconstruct at least some representation of that. So pretty big advancement there. I believe they've done this with people's dreams as well. So if you hook this up while you're dreaming, the AI can reconstruct a visual representation of what you were seeing in your dreams. This is just another article about how AI is so good at recognizing patterns. So they've trained it to recognize when somebody speaks. It can tell you whether or not you have diabetes just from listening to your voice.
I can detect the small, subtle vocal changes caused by type 2 diabetes.
You just grab your phone, speak in your phone, and then you get to diagnostic or a screening in a few seconds.
Then I just wanted to show this real quick. This is a game. It's basically a copy of Angry Birds, but the guy that made this game didn't know any coding or was not a graphic artist or anything, and he was able to build this game in a few hours using AI, ChatGPT, and I think Midjourney was used for the graphics. ChatGPT